We are living through a collapse of collective thinking, and we are misdiagnosing it as a personality problem. We have trained people to experience the world as a story about themselves, not intentionally, perhaps, but relentlessly. Films, television, self-help culture, social media, and even political narratives repeat the same structure over and over. A flawed individual confronts injustice, undergoes emotional growth, learns the right lesson, and emerges transformed. The story ends. Closure is achieved. Meaning is secured. This structure feels humane. It is also deeply destructive. Collective intelligence, the ability of groups to think, learn, and act together over time, does not operate through personal arcs. It operates through coordination, redundancy, memory, and continuity. It requires people to do work that is unglamorous, repetitive, and often invisible. It requires disagreement without collapse and responsibility without recognition. It requires people who are willing to not be the point. Main character culture teaches the opposite. Instead of asking what is needed, people are trained to ask what something means for them. Instead of focusing on obligation, they focus on identity. Instead of measuring change by outcomes, they measure it by feelings. Awareness becomes virtue. Empathy becomes action. Personal growth becomes the metric by which social progress is judged. This is not accidental. A culture obsessed with protagonists is a culture that cannot tolerate systems. Systems do not resolve neatly. They do not reward individuals proportionally. They do not offer emotional closure. They implicate everyone. So we replace them with stories that flatter the self and absolve the collective. The result is a society full of people who feel morally engaged while remaining structurally passive. Main character syndrome is not narcissism in the cartoon sense. It is moral centrality. It is the belief, often unconscious, that one's feelings, intentions, and self-concept are the primary site of ethical action. Discomfort is interpreted as growth. Criticism is interpreted as attack. Injustice becomes a mirror in which the self refines its values, rather than a demand that something external must change. We see this everywhere. Movements that burn hot and collapse quickly. Organizations that confuse visibility with effectiveness. Public discourse that rewards confession over competence and symbolism over structure. People speak constantly about change while resisting the very conditions that make change possible. Patience, coordination, and submission to something larger than the self. Collective intelligence feels alien in this environment because it offers none of the rewards protagonist culture promises. There is no spotlight. There is no arc. There is no guarantee of recognition or resolution often. You do not even get to feel good about your contribution. You simply do what needs to be done, again and again, knowing that the system matters more than your story within it. This feels like loss to people trained on hero narratives. It feels like erasure. But it is not erasure, it is adulthood. Every real transformation in history depended on collective intelligence. Not protagonists. Civil rights were not won because a nation had an emotional breakthrough. They were won through coordination, sacrifice, boredom, discipline, and people whose names we'll never remember. Science does not advance through personal awakenings. Public health does not improve through empathy alone. Justice does not emerge because enough individuals feel resolved. Hero stories are how we retell these achievements after the fact. They are not how the work was done. The danger of main character culture is not that it produces bad people. It often produces sincere, thoughtful, well-meaning ones. The danger is that it produces a population that mistakes moral feeling for moral action, identity for responsibility. A population that demands emotional resolution before it will tolerate structural change. A population that cannot think together because everyone is busy managing their own narrative. If we want to recover collective intelligence, we need to be willing to disappoint the self. We need to abandon the fantasy that history is waiting for our realization. We need to relearn how to participate without needing to be centered, credited, or resolved. We need to value continuity over clarity and obligation over expression. Main character syndrome is not a personal failing. It is a cultural training error. And until we unlearn it, we will keep producing stories that feel good, movements that go nowhere, and societies that cannot sustain the very change they claim to want. The crisis is not a lack of awareness. It is an excess of protagonism. And the cure is not better stories about ourselves, but the hard, unflattering discipline of learning how to act together again.